Good afternoon, everybody. There are new explosions reported in Iran, in a number of cities in Iran. New explosions reported, and I'm going to get you updated on this right now. But in the last 15-20 minutes, I've been hearing new explosions in new parts of Iran. Unclear, last I checked, what this was, but I've been trying to get on the air, so maybe something came out in the last few minutes that I didn't see. Source under investigation. I'm seeing a report of under investigation. All right, give me 1 second here. We'll get you the latest. Try to just get on the air quickly so we can talk about this. Where is this here? Hold on. Okay. Let's fix this real quick. Okay, now let me show you this. Here is something from a couple minutes ago from IRNA, Iran State Media. The source of the explosion in Bushehr is under investigation. In response to an IRNA reporter's follow-up, the governor of Bushehr confirmed the sound was heard in Bushehr and Shaghadak and said whether the sound heard was from the defense of the armed forces, an enemy projectile hitting the areas, or an enemy drone being targeted is still under investigation, and its definitive cause has not yet been determined. It is unclear what the cause of this is. Let me show you some other of the reports of explosions that have come out recently. Here, look, explosions heard in Bandar Abbas. This was about 20 minutes ago. Look at this one. From Mer News. Explosions heard in Bandar Abbas. On Thursday evening, some news sources and local residents reported hearing explosions in the city of Bandar Abbas. Over the past 2 nights, American terrorist forces have carried out attacks on the southern coastline of the country, resulting in the martyrdom of a number of fishermen and defenders of the homeland, as well as extensive damage to fishermen in Bandar Abbas and Syria. Here's a report from ISNA Iran News. They say, Bushehr governor, cause of explosion in Bushehr under investigation. There were other cities reporting where the explosions were reported too. Again, we don't know. Hold on a second. Oh, hold on a second here. Now, let me show you something, if I can pull it up here. Hold on. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. N12 News Israel reports, Barak Ravid from N12 News Israel says, senior American official claims the U.S. military has not carried out attacks on Iran in recent hours. I've seen some speculation it could be from a different country, from another Gulf country. I don't know. So Barak Ravid with N12 News says senior American official claims that the U.S. military has not carried out attacks on Iran in recent hours. Let me actually show you that. Here. Barak Ravid, senior American official, claims that the U.S. military has not carried out attacks on Iran in recent hours. Oh, hold on. I have to do that thing because YouTube does the thing, unfortunately, where I have to, even though I set ads not to play during the stream, I literally have to, every single stream, go back and after the stream starts, set it again. So I just had to do it again. I have just set it again. So I'm sorry about that. Yeah, guys, again, as I have said, just for reference next time, so you don't yell at me next time, as I've said for months, there is a bug where literally I set it for no mid-roll ads before the stream, and literally every single stream I have to go back and manually change it again once the stream is started. So please don't yell at me. I'm doing my best. I rushed on the air. Maybe it'll get fixed at some point. It's YouTube and another company. They're working on it. So please just chill. So these explosions were heard in several cities. Bandar Abbas, right? Also, hold on. Bushehr and Bandar Abbas. That's I want to say hundreds of miles away from each other. Bandar Abbas and Bushehr, explosions heard in both of those places. And also Chaghadak. Hang on, I have to pull this up so I can show you. By the way, Mehr News Agency said there has been no explosion in Karg Island so far. They do say that. You can see this. This is about, what, 20 minutes ago when they said this? About a half an hour ago. Mehr News said there has been no explosion in Karg so far. The news about the sound of an explosion in Karg is not true. According to news received by Mehr's correspondent, the news published about the sound of an explosion in Karg is so far untrue. But they did say, here, look, this was about half an hour ago or so. They did say 2 explosions heard in Bushehr and Chaghadak. Moments ago, 2 explosions were heard around Bushehr and near the city of Chaghadak. Let me show you on a map where this is. I mean, normally, if there are this many explosions in this many cities, that would mean there's some sort of attack. When you have it in this many cities. So we're trying to figure out what's going on here. Chagadak is in Boucher province. Here, look. Oops, you can't see it yet. You'll see it in a second. There you go. So there's Chagadak. See, Chagadak is here. It's near the coast, but it's not. Boucher is a city. Is a different city here. They're what, about 20 miles away, 15 miles away from each other? 10 miles away from each other. But that's all the way up here. There were also explosions heard in Bandar Abbas, which is over here. Bandar Abbas and Boucher are, 300 miles away. So it's very strange that we're seeing, hearing about explosions in both of those locations. Yeah, Seamus says maybe Israel. I am wondering I've seen some speculation online that it could have been somebody besides the U.S. All right, give me a moment here. Just give me one moment. Give me one moment. Very strange. Let's see. Could it be forces inside Iran? I mean, I can't say definitely no. I'd be pretty shocked if all of a sudden forces in Iran were causing explosions. That'd be huge news. I see nothing to suggest so far that that's what's happening, but I'll keep an eye out. Very strange. And I also believe, so we mentioned to you that Barak Ravid had reported for N12 News that a U.S. official said the U.S. hasn't carried out new attacks in the last few hours. Oh, also Konarak. Did we talk about Konarak? We didn't talk about Konarak. Hold on. We mentioned, or did we? Maybe we did. We talked about Bandar, we talked about Boucher. No, I don't think we talked about Konarak. We talked about Boucher province. We talked about Bandar Abbas, which is 100 miles away. We talked about Chagadak. Oh, Konarak. Yeah, we didn't even talk about this. That was about 45 minutes ago or so. Here, look. This is about 45 minutes ago. 3 explosions heard in Konarak. Now, Konarak is that to the east? Konarak is up here. Sorry, you can't see it. Konarak is up here. I mean, it's well inland. It's, 300 miles inland. So it's very strange that around the same time, or within the 20, 30-minute period, there were explosions reported by state media in Konarak, in Bandar Abbas, which is 300 miles away, then 300 miles away up here in 2 places in Boucher province. That's very strange that we have explosions reported in all those different locations. That doesn't seem like, oh, it's some sort of accident or something. Or they're destroying, leftover ammunition or something, or munitions. But we're hearing different outlets saying it's not, having quotes from having comments from U.S. officials claiming it's not a U.S. operation. Yeah, some of our viewers think it could be another country. Nothing confirmed about that yet. I should put cause unclear. Some viewers are wondering if it's other Gulf countries. All right, I'm still looking here for more information, but again, reports of explosions in several different cities about half an hour, 45 minutes ago. And these cities are, at least 3 areas hundreds of miles away from each other. By the way, today is the last day, I believe, of the funeral for I believe the supreme leader is being buried today in Iran. Here, by the way, is a live shot from Mashhad, Iran. Right there. Oops, you can't see it. You'll see it in a second. When I put it on the screen for you, you'll actually see it. Hang on. That's Mashhad, Iran. So, the Iranian media, state media, is reporting a lot of stuff about that. That's the funeral procession for Iran's late supreme leader, Khamenei. I do wonder if Iranian state media is not really talking about these explosions much because this, final funeral ceremony is going on. Okay, this is kind of weird. Here's kind of an odd report from Iranian state TV. Look at this from Iranian state TV. What did I do here? Oh. Iranian state TV says, contrary to some news published on social media, no explosions have been reported in Bandar Abbas, Keshem, Sirik, and Jask so far. Now, I haven't seen any reports of Keshem, Sirik, and Jask. I've seen reports, I believe, in other Iranian state media of Bandar Abbas, and also other places like Bushehr and Kanarak. There now, IRIB is denying Bandar Abbas. That just came out. It is about 10:40 p.m. in Iran right now. What caused these explosions in different cities in Iran, reported by Iranian state media? What is the cause? What happened? Oh, look at this. Where is this? Now, this is about a vase. Where is a vase? Remember, this is around the same time explosions were reported in multiple different cities in Iran. A vase is in Khuzestan province. Now, I didn't hear about anything when I was hearing these reports of explosions, I didn't hear about a vase. Iranian state media, Iranian state TV IRIB said, tonight's explosion in a vase was caused by a city gas leak in a 2-story residential building in a vase. But again, I wasn't hearing about an explosion in the last hour in a vase. And a vase is in Khuzestan province. Up here. So, I mean, that wouldn't explain why were there explosions reported in Bushehr and Bandar Abbas and Konarak. Konarak is up here. Very confusing. Our viewer AMC to the Moon says nothing confirmed. It's not the USA. Again, a US official, several news outlets are reporting that a US official told them it's not the USA. I'm going to actually post this post by IRIB. Here, this is the one I want to show you again. That was 7 minutes ago. State TV. Contrary to some news published on social media, no explosions have been reported in Bandar Abbas, Keshem, Sirak, and Jas so far. Note, state media has reported explosions in other cities in the past hour. Oops, sorry. Again, so Also, it's kind of weird because Iran State TV denies explosions in Bandar Abbas, but I believe another state media outlet said there were explosions in Bandar Abbas. I have to find where it was. Was it Mayor? Oh, I got to do one other thing here too. Yeah, literally Bear News, which is state media, had posted explosions heard in Bandar Abbas. This is Mayor State Media. They had posted this. When was this posted? About 45 minutes ago. They said explosions heard in Bandar Abbas. And then about 10 minutes ago, Erib, state TV, said there weren't any explosions in Bandar Abbas. So I don't know what's going on. Betty Westbrook says fog of war. I also saw something. Hold on a moment. Hold on. One of the outlets had reported that one of the railways had been fixed. Yeah, and again, we didn't. How about the explosion in Bushehr? I showed you this before, but this is Iran State Media IRNA from about half an hour ago. The source of the explosion in Bushehr is under investigation. In response to an IRNA reporter's follow-up, the governor of Bushehr confirmed that the sound was heard in Bushehr in Chagadak and said whether the sound heard was from the defense of the armed forces, an enemy projectile hitting the areas, or an enemy drone being targeted is still under investigation and its definitive cause has not yet been determined. Sea of Chris, our viewer, says, I highly doubt it's Israel. Are there two Connor rocks in Iran? Because I literally looked it up on the map and I showed you. One of the viewers is saying it's somewhere else. Oh, hold on a second. Now I'm seeing it. Oh, there's two Connor rocks on the map. That's confusing. Okay, so thanks to the viewer for Dave Wilson for pointing this out. I think I was looking by the coast and then I looked up here. So maybe they meant the one on the coast. Anyways, if I can show you this here. Yeah, so you see how it says Konarak, Iran. That's not on the coast, and it says Konarak, right? Right? But if you go down here, I think there's another Konarak down here. If I can find it. There, Konarak. Right there, Konarak. Two Konaraks, spelled the same way. So maybe that's the one. Either way, whether it's this Konarak here or the Konarak inland, neither of those is close to Bandar Abbas or Bushehr province. Thanks, Dave Wilson. I appreciate that. Thanks also for your support, Dave Wilson. I really appreciate that. Also, Laura Doc and I Am Charlie and Lidwine Elizabeth. Swamp Fox, thanks for the memberships. Also, Rita, thank you so much, Rita. I really appreciate it. Cindy Melvin as well. Thank you, Cindy Melvin. Frank Hanna, thanks for being a member. Stephen Briones, thank you so much. Stephen, Arco the Burb, thank you. Donna Smalley, Lidwine Elizabeth again. Thank you. Swamp Fox, Darth Bama. Darth Bama says, is it probably Israel hitting Iran? We don't know what happened at this point. No clue. Cindy Melvin, Ryan Pay, thank you, Ryan Pay. Christina R, 23, and MK Elizabeth 122, thank you. Give me a second here. My point is that explosions were reported not all in one place, in some very locations quite far from each other, around the same time. Thank you, Meat Missile, for the gift sub. Thank you, Hugh J, for your support. Big Dog Gaming on Twitch, thank you. Thank the mods in a second too. I thank them. It's just very strange. I mean, it feels like something has happened and we just don't know what it is. ISNA posted the same thing that IRIB News posted. Iran's ISNA News said, look, that's what IRIB posted too. Contrary to some news published on social media, no explosions have been reported in Bandar Abbas, Keshem, Sirak, and Jazz so far. Well, it wasn't just published on social media. Iran state media Mer News had said there were explosions in Bandar Abbas. I was trying to find a thing about the train. Give me a moment here. Where was that at? Was that on IRIB? Maybe. I really wonder if they're not really talking about it because the last day of the funeral's going on. Hey, look, for the Supreme Leader. Check this out. Train traffic resumes on one of the railway lines in Mashhad. From Fars News, state media. CEO of the railway, less than 15 hours after the attack by the American enemy on the railway line in Mashhad, engineers from the railway company have repaired one of the damaged lines and it has been put back into service. Train traffic is now resuming through the repaired line. The repair work on the second line is also continuing and will be completed within a few hours. Arjank says not for long. Now, hold on. I am seeing something. What is this? All right, well, I don't know where that's coming from. Hang on. I was seeing something on another account, and I don't know where they're getting it. Oh, breaking update. We have an update from IRNA. IRNA update. News update from IRNA, Iranian state media. The sound of the explosion heard in Bushehr is caused by the air defense response. The deputy governor of Bushehr for politics and security said to IRNA, the sound of the explosion heard moments ago in Bushehr was caused by the timely response of air defenses. He recalled also moments ago a military headquarters on the outskirts of Bushehr was violated and hit by a projectile from the American Zionist enemy. Wow. All right, hold on a second. So this is what the deputy governor of Bushehr is saying. The deputy governor of Bushehr province, Iran, says the sound of the explosion heard moments ago in Bushehr was caused The sound of the explosion heard moments ago in Bushehr was caused by the timely response of air defenses. Also, he says a military headquarters on the outskirts of Bushehr was violated and hit by a projectile from the American-Israeli enemy. Moments ago? Okay, so we have the deputy governor of Bushehr for politics and security who is saying that there has been air defenses went off in Bushehr, and he claims that a military headquarters on the outskirts of Bushehr moments ago was hit by a projectile from the American-Israeli enemy. Now, I don't know if that's true. I'm just passing it along. That just came out. That was just posted 7 minutes ago by Iran State Media IRNA. Interesting. Interesting. What's that about? One of the viewers said, how would they know where it came from? Well, I don't know. I mean, I can't say if it happened or not. I don't know. I understand the question. It's a fair question. I mean, you could imagine a world in which they examined the wreckage or something and could figure out where what kind of missile it was or something. I don't know that happened. I don't really know if this is a new announcement. It's kind of interesting. The Press TV, which is Iran state media, reports that the Islamic Revolution Guards Corps Navy has warned that U.S. attempts to establish independent maritime routes and escort vessels through the Strait of Hormuz will undermine regional security arrangements and threaten the interests of countries relying on the strategic waterway. Now, I don't know that that's a new announcement. I don't know why they're posting that now, but they just posted it for whatever that's worth. So again, just a few minutes ago, kind of an odd report from IRNA Iranian state media, where they say, if I can put this back on the screen for you, here it is. The sound of the explosion heard in Bushehr is caused by the air defense response. Ehsan Jahanian, the deputy governor of Bushehr for politics and security, said in an interview with IRNA, the sound of the explosion heard moments ago in Bushehr was caused by the timely response of air defenses. He recalled also moments ago a military headquarters on the outskirts of Bushehr was violated and hit by a projectile from the American Zionist enemy. Very confusing what is going on. Here is a announcement from Tasnim state media. Tasnim state media just posted this, for whatever that's worth. Uninterrupted flights despite enemy sabotage. Head of the Iranian Civil Aviation Organization, despite acts of sabotage and security threats from the enemy in some areas of the country, in cooperation with military and security forces, a series of special measures were implemented to ensure the safety of flights, protect the lives of passengers, and maintain aviation services. As a result, flight operations across the country continued without interruption. So if you're just joining us, about an hour or so ago, there were reports in Iranian state media of explosions in a number of cities, and cities not close to each other, some of them, such as Bushehr up here, and Chagadak as well, here, Bandar Abbas here, Konarak, which I think there's a couple different Konaraks. I think it may be the one down here. Where is it here? Where is it? I think it's over here, isn't it? Now I can't find it. Konarak over here. And It's unclear what happened. A U.S. official has said to multiple outlets, basically, it wasn't us. We have not conducted attacks in several hours. Also, about 15 minutes ago, Iran state media said the deputy governor of Bushehr, which is up here, Bushehr region around Bushehr, which includes Bushehr city, said that about 15 minutes ago, the deputy governor of Bushehr, I think it's Bushehr province, said that the sound of explosion heard moments ago in Bushehr was caused by the timely response of air defense activities. Also, moments ago, a military headquarters on the outskirts of Bushehr was violated and hit by a projectile from the American-Israeli enemy. There are some reports in state media denying some reports of explosions, however. Like this from Erib, state television. Oopsie. Hang on. Erib said, contrary to some news published on social media, no explosions have been reported in Bandar Abbas, Keshem, Sirik, and Jas so far, which is not all of the cities they were reported in. So we're trying to figure out what's going on. Then I've also seen this stuff posted about a vase. Yeah, so I wasn't hearing about an explosion in a vase, but maybe some of you did. But this is from Mayor News, Iran state media. Look at this. They say the gas explosion in a vase occurred at 3 p.m. No explosions. Oh, well, that 3 p.m. would have been a long time ago. Oh, I see. So right now it's about 11 p.m. The gas explosion in a vase occurred at 3 p.m. No explosions occurred after that. Mirror reporters follow-up shows that the gas explosion in the Hasirabad area of a vase occurred around 3 p.m. and that no similar incident has occurred since then. This is while rumors about hearing an explosion in a vase were spread at 9 p.m. I don't know if there was or there wasn't. Unfortunately, no appropriate response has been made so far by the authorities in charge regarding the denial or the confirmation of the rumor of hearing an explosion in a vase at 9 p.m. Oh, what is this? Hold on. And just to repeat, I do wonder it's right now the last night of the funeral for Supreme Leader Khamenei, and I just wonder if Iran doesn't want to be reporting on getting attacked while this funeral is going on. I have no idea. It's just I look at Iran. A lot of what Iranian state media is reporting on is this funeral. By the way, thanks to our moderators. We have Ruth moderating and Bite Mode on YouTube. I really appreciate it. They're the reason that we can have chat rooms, our moderators. Also, we have moderating Big Ball of Yarn, I Got That Fire, Matthew Kohai 3, Sarah, and Surly Dev on Twitch. Linda Bell, Glary, Misha moderate for us on X. Thank you. Also, thanks to our Rumble moderators. Kay Body is over there. Thanks, Kay. And also, Big Ball of Susan Priest, Susan Priest Buchner is watching. She's a subscriber as well. Thank you. Paul Anderson is moderating over there on Facebook along with Kay. Oh, Susan, thanks for the Facebook stars too. Now, give me a moment. You can see here, Reuters talks about the funeral today. They say Iran buried its supreme leader at a shrine in Mashhad today, the culmination of a week of mass funeral processions and rallies. I guess he's been buried now? That's what the article says. His funeral procession reached the country, Iran's holiest shrine, for his burial, with a huge crowd packing the courtyard. Some bearing banners denouncing the U.S. president and reading, "We will kill Trump." Also, after we were on the air yesterday, there was some new attacks launched by Iran. Iran's army said in a statement released by state media that it had launched attacks at U.S. Patriot systems in Kuwait, an early warning site in Qatar, and a U.S. Army fuel depot in Bahrain. Sirens also sounded in Jordan after missiles launched from Iran were detected, the state news agency reported. 8 were intercepted, with no injuries or damage reported. The Revolutionary Guard said later that Iran had fired 10 ballistic missiles at Jordan's Azraq military base, which is used by U.S. forces, and also a U.S. military control center in the Middle East, without elaborating. Hey, thanks to Bite Mode. I appreciate that so much, and thanks for moderating too. Thanks, Ethan Dart, 1776, who says, "I don't know if a Gulf state would attack without the U.S." Reportedly, it happened towards the start of the war. For example, Saudi Arabia reportedly carried out some strikes that were not really publicized. Reportedly. Thank you, Ethan Dart. Or are you saying without U.S., do you think that they would do it if the U.S. knew and kind of silently okayed it? I don't know. Thank you, Ethan Dart, 1776. Thanks, Zeppelin 904. Thanks, STL Pinstriping, who thinks you really can't trust any information broadcasted by Iran. Well, I mean, when Iran, say, talks about things when Iran says it's blown up a U.S. ship or something, I don't trust that because they have such a bad record of making those kind of claims. However, I do think, I mean, really, if you want to know about like when Iran gets attacked, that's really the only source you really have, pretty much. I mean, there's some other sources out there that that'll post reports like Vahid Online and Shin, but really, and they have a pretty good record of that. I mean, pretty much always when the Iranians, pretty much always I first hear about attacks going on Iran from Iranian state media. And I don't really recall times over the last few months where they've said, oh, there's been this big attack, and then it turns out there was nothing. And also, I remember when that plane went down, when that plane went down, where the U.S. had to go in and rescue a pilot, the first reports of that were from Iranian state media. They were the only ones reporting about it for a while. I think you have to consider what the nature is of what they're reporting. Yeah, I guess you know what that article, the Reuters article I read said that Supreme Leader had been buried, but I'm looking right now at a new report from Fars News Iran, and they say the burial hasn't happened yet. They say we will announce the time of the prayers for the late leader and the martyrs of his family immediately after their burial. Again, this is why I'm saying it's a pretty sensitive time right now. I mean, this is the culmination of the multi-day funeral for the supreme leader of Iran with his burial to happen tonight. So I do wonder if maybe Iran just doesn't want to discuss and publicize a possible attack against it. And maybe they'll come out with something about it later. That's a live shot from Mashhad. No, the supreme leader died, Khamenei, on the first day of the war, I believe. But they haven't had the funeral until now. Allison Fowler says they are putting the supreme leader as priority number one right now. After tonight, they will be reporting like usual. Yeah, I mean, they've been, the state media has really been posting a lot about this and reporting a lot about this funeral. I would agree with that. That's what they're prioritizing. But again, so it's very confusing that we just heard about a half an hour ago one of the state media outlets said in an interview with them, the deputy governor of Boucher said that a military site in a military headquarters on the outskirts of Boucher had been attacked, hit by a projectile from the American-Israeli enemy. This camera is from, I have it from Reuters, but it's from Iranian state media, IRIB. Oh, by the way, thanks to, I hadn't seen this, PW360 sent me that Shin, who I follow, but I hadn't seen this, about 7.5 hours ago. Shin had reported hearing about a targeted assassination in Avaz. But again, state media, I think, and that was supposedly, that was like an hour ago that Shin reported that. Shin said, I hadn't heard that report. I don't know what the source was, but I've read you state media saying that they're, well, let me go back and see what the Avaz Post said. I have to go back and said, but not acknowledging some sort of an attack an hour ago. So I don't know where Shin got that report. Now I can't find it. I think I read it earlier. Yeah, so, right. Mayor News reported that there was a gas explosion in Avaz about 7.5 hours ago, and no explosions heard after that. So who knows? Partial Silence says, I live in Jerusalem and the skies over Israel here are very quiet. David says, I can hear something starting usually before it even starts, and during there's a lot of air activity. Interesting to see who this is, if anyone. Thank you, Partial Silence, for writing in. Here's something about the additional attacks that happened after we were on the air last night. This is from AP. U.S. and Iran exchange more attacks across the Mideast, threatening ceasefire deal. Is this about the new ones? Let me see. I thought it was with the new ones. Anyways, the U.S. launched new airstrikes against Iran early Thursday. Well, we covered that. And Tehran responded by targeting U.S. allied Mideast countries in an exchange of fire that threatened an interim deal intended to help end the war in the Middle East. So we covered that. After we were on the air, there was reportedly some more exchange of fire. Sirens sounded at least 3 times in Bahrain, home to the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet headquarters, and also missiles targeted Kuwait and Qatar. Also, sirens sounded Thursday afternoon in Jordan. Reportedly, I think 10 missiles were fired at Jordan, I believe, according to Jordan. And an Iranian official accused the U.S. of launching an airstrike later Thursday, targeting the area around Iran's sole nuclear power plant in Bushehr. And other explosions were reported elsewhere in the country during the afternoon, which would have been about, 7 hours ago or so? In Iran, the Iranian health ministry claimed that the American airstrikes have killed 14 people and wounded another 78 in the last 2 days. That's what they claim. Most were reportedly members of the armed forces who were killed. In Kuwait, the military said falling debris wounded 1 person as the nation shot down 3 ballistic missiles, 8 cruise missiles, and 10 drones. Bahrain said it shot down incoming fire without elaborating, and the Jordanian government said all incoming fire from Iran had been intercepted. There was no immediate word of damage in Qatar. This came after Iran, days ago, attacked 3 ships in the Strait of Hormuz, commercial ships. And then the U.S., in response to that, the last 2 nights, launched strikes on Iran. Claudiot says it's always falling debris. TM816 thinks Trump is done negotiating with these fanatics. They won't negotiate in good faith with anyone. Well, hold on a second. Give me a moment. Give me about give me 10 I need 10 seconds. Hang on. I'm going to show you this for 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Hold on. Thanks for your patience. Sorry about that. Hey, thanks, by the way, to Darlene Carrick for the Facebook stars. Do I have a different feed of the funeral? Give me a quick moment here. I wonder if I have access to a different camera. I don't think I do. This is the only one I have access to right now. Oh, I have an update for you. Update on the explosion reports in Iran from IRNA, Iranian state media. Here is an update. Look at this. It says, after confirming residents in Bushehr in Chagadak heard the noise, the local governor said it's still unknown whether the explosion sound, hold on, it's still unknown whether the explosion sound stemmed from armed forces defense systems, enemy fire, or a downed enemy drone, and no final conclusion has been reached. What? How do they not know? How did they not know? Seems odd. Zeppelin says that fog of war is so foggy. I mean, that was over an hour ago, I believe, that was reported that, oops, sorry, I just messed everything up. Just messed everything up. Crazy. It's weird. They're not even like denying the explosions for some of these reports. They're just saying we don't know what it was. It's interesting. That's from a local official. I wonder again if the Iranian leadership does not want this stuff to really be talked about during the end of the funeral. Ehawk thinks that the denial is strong in Iran. Marisol Del Valle thinks they're withholding information. These two reporters who I follow, Israeli reporters on Telegram, Mariah Asraf and Doron Kadosh. Oh, well, one of them, Doron Kadosh, is an Israeli reporter. Doron Kadosh just said, it is unclear tonight who attacked Iran and whether there was even an attack at all in whether there was even an attack in southern Iran. He says that there were numerous reports of explosions and attacks in several locations around the Strait of Hormuz in Iranian media, state media. But he says it's unclear at this stage whether there was an attack and who did the attack if there was one. Rose Ferguson says, I think they don't want to admit to the public that they're being defeated. Give me a moment here. Just checking for new updates. Very confusing. By the way, CNN reports that traffic in the Strait of Hormuz has severely dropped off following strikes on several commercial vessels. They say at least in terms of what you can see on marine traffic, at least 13 commercial vessels transited the Strait of Hormuz in 24 hours, which it had been more in previous days. Bloomberg had said something about that as well. Yeah, Bloomberg reported that Hormuz shipping has ground to a near halt after the U.S. and Iran strikes of the last couple days. Bloomberg says traffic in the Strait of Hormuz has come to a near standstill. They also said a small number of vessels signaled their transit on Thursday along the route controlled by Iran, while the U.S.-supported Omani corridor was empty of observable traffic. Now, some tankers, they say, have been sailing through the strait with the transponders off to try and lower the risk of attack. Bloomberg says it's possible, now that we've had some ship attacks the last few days, more of that could be happening, turning the transponders off. Oh, in a few minutes, the family will build. And it's interesting. They're not. I don't have that. I have a camera from the funeral, but I don't have that camera. It was just reported by Erib. I mean, this is like, look, it's again. I would not be at all surprised, as I've said, if Iran just doesn't want to discuss these apparent strikes by whomever, because they're just right now in the middle of this, for them, really important funeral. It said they just reported in a few minutes the family will bid farewell to the Iranian martyr, the supreme leader. So this is really the culmination of the funeral going on. I believe Netanyahu and Trump spoke today. Where is this? Yes. So, for example, the Times of Israel says the Prime Minister Netanyahu's office said that Trump and Netanyahu spoke on the phone today. According to Netanyahu's office, Netanyahu stressed the necessity of Israel maintaining buffer zones along its borders. It's one of the things they talked about. I haven't seen Trump post about this at all. Yeah, Trump hasn't posted in a while on his X account, on his True Social account. His last post was 18 hours ago. I mean, he's been traveling a bunch, obviously, but he hasn't posted in 18 hours on True Social. We'll give this a few more minutes. Again, it's kind of I'll see what happens. So thus far, there's not much more to report on this. It just I would be really surprised if there was not some sort of attack. I mean, this was multiple explosions reported in a short amount of time in multiple cities, hundreds of miles away from each other in Iran, reported by state media. Fatikos thinks it's got to be the Arabic nations. It's going to be the Arabic nations. Michael Avery says limbo. Void thinks there is no deal. It's market manipulation. That's it. You know, this was interesting. We didn't talk about this last night, but I want to mention this. It's an interesting story. Iran said that the U.S. targeted railway bridges on the route to Mashhad, which is where the burial is tonight for the Iranian supreme leader. Give me a second here. I want to try to get that report for you from Iranian state media when they talked about the strike on one of the U.S. strikes last night. Apparently hit a railway which was on the way to Mashhad, which is where the final day of the funeral has been happening today, and final night of the funeral in Mashhad, Iran, which is interesting. The burial has not happened yet, by the way. ISNA says the burial has not happened yet. of the supreme leader. I can show you this. They're posting about it here on Iranian state media. Sorry. Hang on. To the great nation of Iran and the Islamic Ummah, after the funeral ceremony of the martyred leader of the Islamic Revolution, Allah, the supreme leader in the holy city of Mashhad, and the prayer over his body in the courtyard of the Holy Prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace, the farewell program for the honorable family of the martyred leader of the revolution is currently being held, and the burial of the body has not yet taken place. After the burial of the holy body, the necessary information for performing the rites and prayers of Laylat al-Dafin through Khamenei.ir will be provided to the media, or by the media. I'm not sure which that is. I want to get this story about the railway, though. Hold on a second here. Let me mention, Financial Times said something about it. Financial Times said that, again, that Iran said that the U.S. targeted railway bridges en route to Mashhad, which is where today, so the night before he's buried in Mashhad, the supreme leader, Iran says the U.S. targeted railway bridges en route to Mashhad. Yes, and the Financial Times says passenger train services were suspended from Tehran and other southern cities to Mashhad. They were disrupted. Passenger train services were disrupted. One of the strikes hit a bridge reportedly about 30 miles from Mashhad. And Financial Times says in Iran, this was seen as a provocation. Oh, hold on. I bet I can find this for you, the statement from the Iranian Foreign Ministry. Yes, I'm going to show you this statement from Iran. I have the statement from Iran, from the Foreign Ministry of Iran, about the U.S. attacks last night. Let me translate it and show it to you. All right, I'm putting it on the screen right now. Here is the statement from the Iranian Ministry of Foreign Affairs about the U.S. attacks last night. Here is what they say. By the way, real quick, thanks to J. Carlos74. Thank you. John, thanks for shouting out the mods. Thank you. Mike Brown, thanks for being a member. John LA 1776, thank you so much. Sabra 576. Margie Kubowicz, thank you. Oh, what's her name? Thank you so much. Oh, what's her name says, are targeting civilian fishing docks, railroads, and power plants war crimes. I'm not aware that any power plants were targeted last night. But maybe you're just asking a more general question. Thanks, I am Charlie as well, who mentions the oil price. We'll talk about the oil price in a second. Here is what Iran said, the Iran Foreign Ministry. Oh, also thanks to Am4 and Peter John on Twitch and Big Dog Gaming. Okay, here it is. Without further ado, Where did I put it? Hang on, I had it in front of me, and it's gone. Where did it go? Here it is. Statement by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Iran regarding the aggressive actions of the U.S. terrorist army in Iran last night. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs condemns in the strongest terms the aggressive attacks carried out by the U.S. terrorist army Thursday on several points in the southern coastal provinces, as well as 2 bridges in the eastern provinces on the Holy Mashhad railway route, which undoubtedly constitutes a grave war crime and emphasizes the resolute determination of the zealous Iranian nation to defend its territorial integrity, sovereignty, and national security. So Iran says that the U.S. targeted 2 railway bridges on the route to Mashhad, which is where the final day and night of the funeral is being held today for the supreme leader. Wow. Let me just quickly show you where this is, where Mashhad is. What did I do? Oh, one sec. There is Mashhad, which is in the north, and it's to the it's east of Tehran. Tehran, Mashhad. Now let's show you again this. The criminal attacks by the United States against Iran over the past 48 hours, says Iran, under the false pretext of responding to alleged incidents involving several ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz on Tuesday, are not only a clear violation of Article 2, Paragraph 4 of the UN Charter, but also a flagrant violation of Articles 1 and 5 of the Memorandum of Understanding and the end of the war, and a pretext to justify the continued non-compliance of the U.S. with the Memorandum of Understanding on the end of the war. While the brave and wise Iranian nation, with its magnificent and unparalleled presence at the historic farewell ceremony for the martyred leader of the revolution, has demonstrated its strong will to confront Iran's evil enemies and protect the authority of national sovereignty and the territorial integrity of our homeland, the evil and psychotic American ruling body has resorted to obscenity, lies, and military aggression, including by targeting the railway route to Mashhad in order to compensate for its inability to understand the greatness and glory of Iranian patriotism and loyalty to the ideals of its revolution. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Iran, while expressing disgust at the ridiculous rhetoric of President Trump and other American officials, that was I think we're talking about when President Trump said that the leadership of Iran was scum and that they were loco and cuckoo and what else? I forget what else, but a bunch of things he said about them. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Iran, while expressing disgust at the ridiculous rhetoric of the president and other American officials against the great Iranian nation, considers their explicit admission of non-compliance with the Memorandum of Understanding to end the war, dated June 18th, as further clear evidence of the U.S. ruling party's betrayal of the treaty, and also of its vileness, its warmongering, and its wickedness. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, while congratulating and condoling the martyrdom of our dear compatriots, including a number of sailors defending the homeland in the South who were martyred in the brutal attacks of the U.S. terrorist army in the past 48 hours, emphasizes the determination of Iran to defend Iran's national sovereignty and territorial integrity and punish the aggressors. Iran will under no circumstances allow the breach of the treaty, bullying and contempt of the U.S. ruling body, Iran will, under no circumstances, allow the breach of the treaty, the bullying, and contempt of the U.S. ruling body to affect Iran's national rights and interests. So that you can see they are not happy, and obviously, and they're not happy. One thing they're not happy with is that they say the U.S. last night hit two bridges on the railway route to Mashhad, which when there was the night before the last day of the funeral, which was being held in Mashhad for the supreme leader. They say that the U.S. targeted the railway route to Mashhad. Pre-breakfast, Banana said, ran out of supreme leaders. The current supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, who's the son of the previous one, he is not present at the funeral. I don't believe he's been seen in public during the war. Amy Celeste says they will never be happy. Michael Avery says, strongly worded letter. Mike says they are not happy. Alperer says they are big mad. Aria K says, how long will this go on for? U.S. Gulf War vet says, blah, blah, blah. The Lithwalk says, just wondering, why are we drawing this out instead of just going in 1 or 2 nights and leveling the main targets? Dr. Boomstick thinks Trump was right about every bit of it. By the way, the railway line that was hit twice last night by the U.S., according to Iran, there was other reporting. Barack Ravid had reported that the U.S. hit 2 different railway targets. According to the Financial Times, that railway line plays an important role in transit and trade with Central Asia and is part of an international corridor that links Iran, Turkmenistan, and Kazakhstan. I mean, whatever you think about Iran and the U.S., it's pretty provocative. I don't see it talked about that much, but it's pretty provocative that the U.S. apparently hit 2 places on the railway to Mashhad, the Tehran-Mashhad railway, just hours before the last day of the Supreme Leader's funeral in Mashhad. It seems like it's sending some sort of message. Barry said that's correct. PVC Sweet says, yup. It's weird. I mean, I feel like it's a big deal, at least symbolically. I can't imagine that the U.S. just accidentally and unintentionally attacked 2 spots on the railway line leading to Mashhad hours before the Supreme Leader's funeral in Mashhad. Jay Dealing Fire thinks it's definitely a message. Pixie Loose is 100% provocative. Brewster says they now get to all walk home from the funeral. Well, again, one of the lines I know had been reported fixed by, I read you earlier, by state media today, and they said another one was getting fixed within several hours. Will there be more fighting tonight? I have no idea. What is this? Hold on. I think that's old. I have an update. Updated report about the explosions 10 minutes ago from Tasnim State Media. News update from Tasnim State Media, Iran. They say, I'm going to put this on the screen for you. I haven't even read it fully yet. Here it is. Governor of Konarak, military zone of the Navy targeted by enemy in 2 stages. Haqqani, the governor of Konarak and southeastern Sistan and Balochistan, announced 2 explosions occurred in a military zone of the Navy in the county. He said the area was targeted by enemy fighter jets in 2 separate attacks tonight, Thursday evening. He's talking about the explosions that were reported an hour or 2 ago. Relevant authorities, rescue teams, and security forces immediately arrived at the scene, and an investigation into the details and scope of the attack is underway. Look at that. Look at that. So we've had local officials in 2 different cities say that there was an attack. Governor of Konarak, Iran. Announced that 2 explosions occurred in a military zone of the Navy in the county. He stated the area was targeted by enemy fighter jets in 2 separate attacks on Thursday evening. Just posting this here. So, I mean, that's the governor of Konarak saying, this was just posted about 14 minutes ago. That's the governor of Konarak saying that a military zone of the Navy in Konarak was targeted by enemy fighter jets in 2 separate attacks on tonight. Oops, sorry. Where did my story go? Where did my story go? Has it been deleted? I think they deleted it. Hey guys, I think they deleted the story. No joke. It was posted at 1622. I have the screenshot here. I took a screenshot. Look, here's the timeline. There's 1623 Tasnim News. There's 1620. What happened to 1622? What happened to 1622? I'm so confused. It was just there. Huh. I mean, that's Tasnim. I'm looking right now on their timeline. I mean, I have it here. I haven't. I'm looking. Yeah, it's not on their timeline right now. That's 1623 and that's 1620. But I'll show you. I'll show you. I have it right here. Look. Look at this. See? Tasnim News, 1622. It's what I just read you. They deleted it. Iran state media Tasnim appears to have just deleted this post. Hold on, hold on. Hold on. Weird. In which the governor of Konarak says this post about the governor of Konarak announcing that a military zone in Konarak in the area was attacked twice by enemy fighter jets tonight. It's still deleted? That's really strange. Not there. It's not there anymore. It's not there anymore. Weird. Weird, guys. Weird. Again, this is, I'll just show you one more time. This is Tasnim State Media. If you look at their timeline right now, there's 1623, there's 1620. They both say Tasnim News. Where's 1622? I'll tell you where 1622 is. It's on my timeline because I screenshotted it. That's where it is. I just posted about it again. Here, look. Now it's on your screen. Oh, you'll see in a second. Now it's on your screen. There it is, 1622. I don't know what's going on. Lori Potter says, I'm glad you screenshotted it. Yeah, you know, I caught it. If I had caught it a couple minutes later, I would have never have seen it. I don't know what's going on. Hey, thanks, Carrie Poteet, for your support. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Also, Mr. Shovel from Denmark. Thank you. J. Carlos 74. Thanks so much. Oleg Penkovsky. Thanks. Oleg says, are there Iranians here? I'm from Russia. Let's unite and dismantle our governments. We've all had enough of this. Hang on. Hang on. Thanks also Andy DS7 for subscribing on Twitch. Who Shot JR on Twitch for your support. Thank you. It's been there's weird stuff going on with their media. So again, in case you're just joining us, a couple hours ago, there were explosions reported in Iranian state media in several different cities, a number of different cities, not right next to each other, hundreds of miles away from each other. And it really seemed like, well, somebody's attacking them. That's what it seemed like. But then there was never an announcement that they were being attacked. Then some Iranian state media started denying some of the specific explosion claims. At one, like Mer News had reported that there were explosions in Bandar Abbas, and then I think it was, who was it? Then Iranian state TV said, contrary to some news posted on social media, no explosions have been reported in Bandar Abbas. Well, it wasn't just social media. It was literally Iran state media had reported that. So it's been very confusing. The U.S., a U.S. official has denied to several media outlets, including American media outlets, that the U.S. did this. So it's just not clear what's going on. But then we just had this weird thing. We've had two different Iranian state media posts in the last 45 minutes or so where a local official says that there was an enemy attack on their area. So the deputy governor of Bushehr said that a military headquarters in Bushehr, on the outskirts of Bushehr, had been hit by a projectile fired by the American-Israeli enemy. And then Kanarak, which is hundreds of miles away, just a few minutes ago, Iranian state media reported that the governor of Kanarak said that a military zone in the Navy in Kanarak in the county had been targeted by enemy fighter jets in two separate attacks tonight. And then that post disappeared off of Tasnim state media. They deleted it. So I don't know what's happening. It's very strange. And this is happening while, like, the most sensitive part, I believe, or one of the most sensitive parts of the Supreme Leader's funeral is going on, because there's all these posts. He's about to be buried. The Supreme Leader is about to be buried. Tasnim just posted that there's a eulogy going on before the burial of the body of the Supreme Leader. So I don't know if there's some kind of thing going on where, because this very sensitive culmination of this funeral is going on, do they not want to be posting about this other stuff? I just don't know, but it's very weird. It's very weird. And I don't even think, so like, I've had footage of the funeral, but they cut it off. I think it's so sensitive. They're like, AFP and Reuters had footage of the funeral, but that footage has either stopped or it's just like you're seeing like a building. They're not even showing what's going on right now. Very weird. Vahid Online, who posts a lot about reports about Iran, he just posted what I was talking about. He just talked about how the governor of Kanarak had said that there were attacks there. Oh, hold on. I have the footage back from the funeral. Oh, I got the footage back. Wait, footage from the funeral? Footage from the funeral? I'm seeing they're parading the casket right now at the funeral. Hold on, guys. Hold on, I'm going to put this on the screen for you, if I can get it there. Where is it? hold on. It just came back. Here, they're parading the casket right now. Look at, they're parading the casket. Look at this. Before burial, that's the supreme leader's casket, Khamenei. But, do I have volume here? This is just before the burial of the supreme leader, Khamenei. Wow. Yes, this is Supreme Leader Khamenei, who was killed, I believe. I don't know if he was killed, I believe, on the first day of the war by the American-Israeli strikes. Now, this has been, I think, about a 5 or 6 day funeral, but this is the culmination. He is in Mashhad, Iran. State media said he's going to be buried shortly. So this is really the one of the final parts of the funeral. Wow. So Press TV Iran just reported martyred leader of Islamic revolution to be laid to rest at Imam Reza's holy shrine in city of Mashhad. So again, this is just before the burial. Hold on, I have better audio. You are watching, this is live footage from Mashhad, Iran, of the casket of Supreme Leader Khamenei, who was assassinated by Israel and the US on the first day of the war back in February. Look at the drone, you can see the drone flying around. This is just before burial. This is the Imam Reza Shrine, which is one of the holiest sites in Shia Islam. 30 million Muslims make pilgrimage to this shrine every year, says Wikipedia. It is the most visited pilgrimage site in Islam. And by the way, I think I just saw a second casket. So, well, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know if any of the families there's two caskets, right? There's two caskets. So I don't know if any of the family member, maybe it's him and family. I mean, I'm sure the camera is focusing on his, but in a couple of the shots, I've seen another casket. At the start, I know a few days ago at the funeral, there were 4 caskets. So yeah, one of the viewers says wife. I'm not sure which the other casket we're seeing is, but I'm sure the focus is on his casket. Okay, it's the others who are going to be buried apparently are his granddaughter, his son-in-law. Oh, well, I don't know who's going to be buried here, but there are according to BBC, the coffins of his granddaughter, his son-in-law, his daughter, and Mojtaba's wife landed in Mashhad this morning. Yeah, so during this, again, Reuters says that Khamenei's remains, along with the remains of 4 family members killed alongside him, have already been, in different cities during this funeral process. Look at this. Wow. Again, we're keeping an eye on this. This is the funeral of the culmination, the end of the funeral of Supreme Leader Khamenei. Up. Now what? Before he's laid to rest in Mashhad, Iran. Some viewers are pointing out, I was wondering what that sound was. Some viewers believe that's the drone. You may be right. The drone that's been covering this. I mean, I will say this, we've been talking about how there were these explosions reported several hours ago in Iran, and to me, it seemed like there might have been some kind of attack because there was explosions in several different cities, not really close to each other, but we haven't heard that much in Iranian media. There was one report of a local governor saying that there were two jet attacks, but that got deleted by the state media. And as I said, it is a sensitive time in the country and for the leadership. So, this is clearly obviously it's a huge deal because it's the funeral of the supreme leader in the religious state of Iran. So, You know, it's who knows? Maybe they just don't want to be talking about this stuff until this is over. So we very well could hear after this is over. You could hear some statement from the government saying there was an attack or something. You know, I don't know, but it's a huge deal. So. Hang on. Here we go. By the way, we've been hearing some laughter. And I was like, why are they making jokes? I actually looked it up. Now, according to Gemini AI, I'd have to research this further, but Gemini AI claims this is a common and intentional occurrence in the context of high-profile Iranian state and military funerals, particularly those framed around martyrdom. While traditional personal funerals in Iran are strictly solemn and filled with quiet grief, large-scale public funerals for prominent state figures involve a distinct blend of religious mourning, political messaging, and morale boosting. So they're saying that this laughter is not an uncommon thing for this type of funeral. Here's some other comments. Again, I haven't verified this, but this is what Gemini AI is saying. It says it's a common practice for speakers at these type of funerals to recount warm, personal, and sometimes humorous anecdotes about the deceased leader's humility, life, or daily habits. This is supposed to humanize the leader, foster a sense of intimate community among the millions watching, and celebrate their life rather than focusing entirely on the finality of death. Also, in Shia Islamic theology, a martyr is believed to transition directly to a joyous spiritual realm. While the loss is deeply mourned, state-orchestrated ceremonies intentionally balance heavy grief with moments of triumph and celebration of the individual's ultimate spiritual victory. And in the political culture of Iran, the funeral of a major figure is treated not just as a tragedy, but as a demonstration of strength and resilience against foreign adversaries. Speakers, often prominent clerics, commanders, or professional eulogists, frequently use sharp satire, witty political barbs, or mocking ironies directed at international enemies such as the US or Israel to show the public is not broken or intimidated. I think we lost. I think they cut the sound for the moment on the broadcast. I figured that that was part of the ritual, and that it was not somebody kind of going off script and doing this shocking joke telling at a funeral. We'll keep an eye on this, but quite something to see all that. It's yeah, they're kind of cutting in and out of the funeral, the actual proceedings on the coverage, because for a while we weren't really seeing much of anything. I thought they were basically done with the coverage, and then all of a sudden we saw the casket being paraded around on people holding it up and pushing it forward. By the way, I want to say I got to thank a couple people real quick. Thank you so much to Oleg Penkovsky. Thank you, Oleg. Audra, thank you. Lidwine Elizabeth. Yeah, Lidwine, we usually don't get live shots from Iran. I mean, this is from state TV. Normally, on the rare occasions when I get a live shot from Iran, it's mostly state television. Thank you, Oleg. Oleg thinks that Iranians, the people in Iran, are also just as for freedom as Russians are. Oleg, I think Oleg's talking about like the regular people there. That's what Oleg says. Thanks to Teen Mom. Teen Mom says then they have to go back to being scared. Thank you, Teen Mom. Thanks, Chris Porter. Minuteman revived. Chris Porter thinks clearly the West needs to stop trying to change a 3,000-year-old culture. That's what Chris said. Thank you, Kerry Poteet, for the memberships. That's very nice of you, Kerry. Also, Who Shot JR on Twitch, Andy DS on Twitch. And I want to thank our moderators, too, who have been here. We have moderating, for example, Big Ball of Yarn, LB Prairie Dawn, Idaho Star, Matthew Kohai 3, and Surly Dev over there on Twitch. We'll see. I don't know if we're going to get more of the funeral coverage. That's now it says just fed. Oh, all right, hold on. So it seems like maybe that's it. It seems like maybe that's it for, that might be it for the state TV coverage of the funeral. It says I'll keep an eye on it, but for now the feed is over. Let me thank our mods, and I'll comment on that a little more. Give me a moment here. Ruth is moderating. Thank you so much, Ruth. She's over there on YouTube. Thank you. Linda Belk, Larry, Misha moderate for us on X. Thanks to all of our moderators. I really appreciate it. Over on Rumble, Kay Body has been moderating over there. Thank you, Kay. Our viewer Tuna says not much different than carting around Queen Elizabeth's coffin, just a bit more personable. AP Cowgirl said, not unusual. My cousin's wife just passed and her funeral was full of funny stories. She wasn't one to want people sad. Thanks, Paul Anderson, for moderating over there on Facebook. And K. Lowry Body. Yeah, so I think that might be, in terms of the state TV footage, that might be the end of that, because both AFP and Reuters, well, we actually saw this screen that said the end of the TV broadcast. So I wonder if they're I'll check Iranian state media, but maybe at this point they're actually going to bury the coffins or the caskets. And what we were just watching, that footage, I mean, the different state media outlets are we're posting clips of that, and they're also posting other stuff like this. This is hang on a moment here. This is from Mayor Iranian State Media, Mayor News. They just posted this. It's an artwork of Iranian State Media. Oops. It's an artwork of the late Supreme Leader. And he's at the site in that picture. Oops, where did it go? He's at the site where the funeral is going on in that picture. It says, "My heart is breaking. God bless those who have hearts." There's probably some kind of saying that I don't know the meaning to, but I've been seeing state media's been posting artwork of him like this. I mean, it's actually interesting that I know, like in the U.S., that's kind of just one little part of the war. It's not. That's my from doing coverage of this and reading coverage. It's not discussed that much. I mean, clearly, not everybody in Iran is a fan of the regime. There's many people who hate the regime, right? Remember the big protests and everything. But there are certainly supporters of the regime. To them, it's a huge deal that the U.S. and Israel killed the supreme leader. Before, he was the second supreme leader ever in the Iranian Republic. It was Khomeini and him. Oh, I'm seeing pictures. There's pictures in Iranian state media of also like Ghalibaf, the Speaker of the Iranian Parliament, at the funeral. Anyways, the funeral's a big deal there. So maybe it's possible that after the funeral, there'll be more talk in Iran, more reporting in the state media about the explosions that they had reported about. So hold on a second here. By the way, thanks to Oleg Penkovsky. Thank you, Oleg, for all your support. I really appreciate it. Also, Vlachi Guy for being a member. Nini of 6 for being a member. Sabra576. Sabra says the people of Iran is not the government. Thank you, Crypto King. And thanks, Crypto King, for shouting out the mods. Thanks, PVC Swede and Renee Lorraine. Thanks, Prince of Babylon. Prince of Babylon says these people killed millions of Iraqis, Iranians, Syrians, Lebanese with the help of Russia and their backed Iranian militias. Thanks. Oleg says, say no to IRGC, say no to evil. Thanks, Edwards 4ID, for your support. Audra from Sweden. Thanks, Lidwine Elizabeth, who asked if there would be an attack on Mashhad. No, I mean, when you're talking about this kind of stuff, it's caught. Why? So is the idea, if the U.S. or Israel were to attack the site of the Iranian leader's funeral, state supreme leader's funeral, while it was going on, after reaching a memorandum of understanding, would any kind of benefit they get be worth the obvious cost? All ethical issues aside, if you want to just eliminate ethical issues for the moment, which it's hard to do, but if you want to play that game and talk about practical consequences, would the U.S. really think that the benefits are worth the cost? Now, Shin is saying that Shin reports that a activist, I guess an Iranian activist, is claiming that, am I right about this? Yeah, so Shin mentioned that a political activist claims that there were attacks on Basij regime forces at two checkpoints. I don't know if that really happened. I can't verify that. Shin had posted about it about 20 minutes ago. I just don't know. Oh, I had the headphones on because we were watching the footage. So Roberto said, "Why did they wait so long to bury him? I believe it might have been a safety concern. Uh, why, a gathering like this with prominent Iranians, uh, prominent people from the government. I'm guessing they might not have wanted to do that, while there was a state of active war. I mean, it's a state of active warfare now, but until there was some sort of agreement. So there was a memorandum of understanding. President Trump himself said a week or so ago, he has said things like they wanted to have their funeral. So it clearly is something that was, whether explicitly or implied in the agreement, that they would be allowed to have their funeral. Geo Arsenal said to me that they think that Tasnim state media scrubbing the post where the governor of Kanarak, Iran, claimed that there were two attacks by enemy fighter jets in Kanarak, in the county there. Geo Arsenal thinks they scrubbed it because of damage control, because they don't want to admit CENTCOM fighters bypass the entire coastal SAM grid. I don't know about that. I mean, I think it's pretty widely known right now that the US and Israel have air dominance over Iran, but who knows? Thank you for writing in, Geo Arsenal, or for replying to me. Oh, new post from US CENTCOM. This was 20 minutes ago while we were watching the funeral. Hey, look, it's a new post from CENTCOM. Fact check. Claim. Iranian state media claims that transit through the Strait of Hormuz is only permitted through routes designated by Iran. Truth. Iran does not control the Strait of Hormuz. Since early May, U.S. forces have helped facilitate the successful transit of more than 800 commercial vessels and 380 million barrels of crude oil through the vital international trade corridor. Now, remember, Iran did attack 3 different ships in the Strait of Hormuz a few days ago, that were trying to cross the Strait of Hormuz, in or near the Strait of Hormuz. That is a U.S. military fact check. Jack Burton says 800 commercial vessels in 3 months is not a win. Well, it's 2 months, but yeah, I mean, before the war, there were like 130 vessels going through the strait every day, roughly, which would be about 800 in a week. Say more than 800 in a week. I'm seeing a couple. Hold on. I'm checking something here. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Please give me a moment. Oh, I have an update here from Vahid Online. Some local sources have reported hearing gunfire in Mashhad, including around the shrine where the funeral is taking place. According to these reports, says Vahid Online, according to these reports, unconfirmed, a shooting took place on Fakuri Boulevard, where two unidentified individuals dressed in military uniforms fired at a number of Basij forces using pistols. Basij are regime forces. The reports also indicate that two Basij members were killed in the attack. Reports suggest the attackers fled the scene after the shooting, and security forces are currently working to identify and apprehend them. These reports have not been officially confirmed. But did Erna post about this? Yes, there's a report of a shooting. All right, hold on a moment. So let me post this. Erna itself, which is Iran state media, they did say there was a shooting. Hang on. The deputy security governor of Khorasan Razavi confirmed a shooting occurred in the Sarafrazan Boulevard area of Mashhad, killing two people. This is state media. In an interview, Ami Roya, hold on a second. Now this is happening. In an interview with Erna, Amaroya Shamkhadri refused to provide further details on the matter and emphasized the cause of the incident and the identities of the deceased are not yet known. This is approximately 10 miles from the Imam Reza holy shrine where the funeral is taking place, about 10 miles away. Basij is a militia force which supports the regime. Wikipedia says they are a paramilitary volunteer militia within the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in one of its 5 branches. They often help put down protests, or at least regularly. Give me a moment. I want to post this from Vahid Online. Now, give me a moment. Give me one moment. I want to get that posted. From @Vahid about the reported unconfirmed shooting in Mashhad, Iran, the city where the supreme leader's funeral is currently taking place. As is seen in the post, state media Erna did report a shooting incident. So again, I don't. It appears that there was some sort of shooting in the same city where the funeral is taking place tonight. Some reports claim that, as Vahid says, that some reports say that two people dressed in military uniforms started firing on Basij regime forces and that they fled the scene. Maybe that happened. I'm not sure. There's some pictures floating around that I cannot show you, purporting to show, I guess, Basij victims. Oh, now Fars news agency is claiming the shooting. Oh, that there was no shooting. Okay, now here, this is from Fars News. They're saying there was a shooting not at the site, but about, but they say there was a shooting. All right, hold on. Here's what Fars News says. Fars News Iran, state media. Counter-revolutionary rumors spread with false report of shooting near Imam Reza Shrine. Following the funeral procession for the martyred leader of the revolution, which was attended by millions of people, rumors spread about a shooting near the Imam Reza Shrine, which is where it took place, the funeral. Investigations by a Fars news agency reporter in Mashhad indicate that no security incidents occurred near the shrine or along the route of the funeral procession. Hold on a second here. But, oh, I've been spelling Mashhad wrong. I misspelled it. I posted about it and I misspelled it I said M-A-S-H-A-D instead of M-A-S-H-H-A-D. Well, bad me. My mistake. Anyways, simultaneously, Fars says, a shooting incident did occur in the Sarafrazan neighborhood of Mashhad, which I believe is about 10 miles away, where two people were targeted. Initial reports say both individuals were killed. The deputy governor for security of Ravazi Khorasan province also confirmed the shooting incident in the Sarafazan Boulevard area of Mashhad. He confirmed the deaths of two people in the incident and stated the cause of the incident and the identities of the victims are still unknown. That is more than 15 kilometers away from the shrine. Just letting you know. I think I had, this is terrible. I think Mashhad was spelled wrong. I had it, I think, on the screen as M-A-S-H-A-D. I'm really sorry. That stuff drives me crazy. I thought I had looked it up before and it said Mashhad, M-A-S-H-A-D. Did I see it somewhere? It's just stupidity. I thought I just misread it and I never double checked it. Anyways, I apologize for misspelling Mashhad. That's bad. It was up there the entire time, misspelled. By the way, the Wall Street Journal says that Israel shared new intelligence with the U.S. that Israel said that Israel says indicated a fresh Iranian plan to kill President Trump. EJ Rod says they say this every month. I know the Bognish says, of course they did. If they did do that, I mean, I'm sure some people have different opinions of it. Some people might say they really want to protect President Trump, and it's really true. They have this. Some other people might say they're making it up to get President Trump mad at Iran. Laura C says might be true, but Israel has its own motives. The Sugaro says both can be true. Iran time, by the way, is, I think, about a little after 1 a.m. in Iran. Yeah, it's still really unclear what happened with these reports of explosions several hours ago when we came. This was about, what, 3 hours ago or so when we came on the air, or so, roughly 3.5 hours ago. There were a couple different reports in Iranian media where local officials were saying that there had been attacks, but nothing yet from there's certainly no official acknowledgement of any attacks, and it's confusing what exactly happened. Personally, I think possibly they didn't want to talk about it while the Supreme Leader's burial was going on. Oh, Erna, here's an update about this shooting in Mashhad, which is some reports claim that it was an attack on Basij members. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on. There's a report of explosions in Konarak. Report of explosions heard in Konarak. This is from Iran State TV. At 21:10. Oh, but that would have been a while. Oh, actually, I don't even know. The problem with this is like the Persian time, I think, the Persian calendar. Hold on. Because it says 4:18 at 21:10. July 9th at 9:10 p.m. Okay, so this would have been hours ago. This would have been 21:10, if that's correct, would be about 4 hours ago. Today, at several hours ago, the military area located in Konarak Navy in Konarak was attacked by enemy fighter jets in 2 stages. Oh, this is the same report we showed you before. This is the one basically that Tasnim deleted. So this is Iranian state TV says that the governor of Konarak County, Iranian state TV is now reporting what Tasnim state media is now also reporting like Tasnim did earlier, that the governor of Konarak County says a military area located in Konarak Navy, a Konarak Navy military area, a Navy military area in Konarak was attacked twice by enemy fighter jets. Tonight. Wow. Okay, so this is the second time that state media, this is state TV posting what Tasnim had posted before and deleted. I don't know if they reposted it, but this is the governor of Konarak saying that about 4 hours ago, a Navy military area in Konarak County was attacked twice by fighter jets. That's what they're saying. U.S. Rights and Freedom says IRGC blames U.S. for recent attacks and U.S. command has not verified. Well, this doesn't say U.S. though. It just says enemy. But I don't know who the enemy is, if that happened. And then I also wanted to mention, they also said denial of news of shooting around Imam Shrine. Oh no, there was a different report about the shooting that I want to show you from Mayor. Two killed in shooting in Mashhad. Mayor News state media says the governor, the local government says that a shooting occurred in Mashhad. 2 people were killed. Oh, that I saw something different to that. The cause and the identities of the deceased are still unknown. There was another report in state media that said it was like due to a claim that it was due to a confrontation, like a dispute between people or something. I don't know where that is now, though. Some reports say it was an attack. Oh, here it is. This is what Iran state media IRNA said. Look. Some reports online claim that 2 people attacked Basij militia. Erna State Media says 2 people were killed in a shooting incident in Mashhad, reportedly due to a personal dispute. It was not a terrorist act, says the deputy governor, guys. The deputy governor says it was not a terrorist act. Why did that happen? A deputy governor says the shooting incident in Mashhad was due to a personal dispute, arose from a personal dispute and was not a terrorist act. Viewers, I don't know what to tell you. I have no idea. They said, according to an initial investigation, the deputy governor said, 2 people were involved in a personal dispute, resulting in the death of one. A third person then became involved, leading to the death of the second individual. Both victims were killed by firearms. Glenda says completely different story then. Yeah, I mean, that's 2 very different stories, but I don't know who's right. Excuse me. FL Beach Band thinks Iranian regime has a mouthful of propaganda with nothing left but fireworks. Austin Batman says personal dispute, okay. Thanks very much to Oleg Penkovsky. I appreciate it, Oleg. Thank you. Jiggle Jess, thank you. Are civilian buildings being hit in the recent strikes? I haven't heard of that happening, but I don't know. I haven't heard of it happening. Well, we've heard of fishing boats being hit. I can't confirm that. Iranian state media had reported today, I posted it on my X account, saying that following the impact of 2 projectiles on the fishing pier in the village of Benud, 10 fishing boats caught fire. I'll post a link to that in the chat. Thank you, Lidwine Elizabeth. She says that Israel often attacks people from Hezbollah and Hamas at a, and she said sometimes Israel has said that has attacked sensitive targets like places near schools or hospitals if they say somebody from Hezbollah or Hamas is at it. So she says, why at the funeral don't they do something? Again, Lidwine Elizabeth, you keep asking why the funeral wasn't being attacked. So if, again, I would just direct you again to cost versus benefits. The U.S. has clearly reached a memorandum of understanding with Iran. President Trump has spoken about this. There clearly has been some sort of agreement between the U.S. and Iran to allow Iran to have this funeral. So if Israel were to, launch airstrikes at this funeral, would the whatever benefit they get out of that be worth not only the anger of Iran and other countries, but also the anger of their ally, the U.S. So that's the best I can tell you is costs and benefits. That's what I would say to you. I appreciate your support, but again, I understand your question. But I think you'll find your answer in, ethics aside, ethical considerations aside, I think you need to think about costs and benefits if you're trying to think about why would they not do it. But I do understand your question. Thank you for writing in and for sharing. Thanks to Noel Gilliland and Sasiad from Poland, I believe. I think that's what it was. Yes, that person is from Poland. Maybe we'll do a poll here. Some people have been talking about this in the chat. By the way, thanks Hokikara for being a member. Will the U.S. attack Iran again tonight? Whatever happened earlier, forget about that for the moment. Will the U.S. attack Iran again tonight is the question. From now forward. It's about 1:30 in the morning there. Let's see here. I am just getting the poll posted. We have not done a poll yet. Here it is, getting it posted now. Getting it posted for you now. Now, here is the poll result. I'm going to put it up on the screen now, if you give me a moment. Okay, just to do it, I put the Strait of Hormuz up there for marine traffic. And, oops, I'm hearing two of me. Why am I hearing two of me? Oh, I see. Here is the poll results. Will the U.S. attack Iran again tonight? On YouTube, 78% say yes. On Facebook, it's 57% say yes now. And on Twitch, it is 76%. People are pretty confident it's going to happen again. Give me one moment. Give me one quick moment. Batman Shack says, I say yes, but he could sit it out until another ship is attacked again. Oh, we didn't do the graphic. Oh, no. Oh, no. Hopefully you thought about it like this. Power 77 says maybe. Oops, everything's messed up. What happened to the poll? Now, did we see the whole video? Oh, hold on, I don't know what I'm doing. We'll play the video again. Then I'll get you back. Then I'll get the poll back on the screen. Okay, the poll's back on the screen. Sorry. 79% and 82%. People are pretty confident. Atomic Fart says, I say nah. Oh, I have to look into whether there's posts on there's polls on Rumble. Maybe there are. It's too many polls. I can't. I have to post it individually. It's already paying because I have to post it 3 different times. So I don't know if we're going to do it. I don't know that I want to get to a place where I'm posting it on 4 places at once. So I apologize to Rumble, but it's got to be that way right now. I have no way of just posting it once and having it appear on all the platforms. There could have been an attack a few hours ago. I don't know. I'm just saying, my question is about going forward. Thanks for voting in the poll. It ended up being 73% on Facebook, by the way. Is the funeral complete? I have not heard that it is. From state media. Last I checked. But they stopped the coverage. I mean, this coverage stopped, the video coverage stopped like over an hour ago, I think. Our viewer Jay Saranakov thinks tonight's attack will make last night's look weak. Mort says, very fluid situation, doesn't take much to trigger it. Hey, thanks, Jeff Buddington. I really appreciate it, Jeff. And Crimson Dingo. Thank you so much, Crimson Dingo. I don't have much new for you at the moment. All right, here's what I think I'm going to do. Oh, by the way, let me just mention this, the Wall Street Journal. So the Wall Street Journal is claiming that Israel has shared new intelligence with the U.S. that Israel says indicates a fresh Iranian plan to kill President Trump. Yesterday, President Trump had talked about saying he was. Didn't he say he was number one on their list yesterday or something like that? Yesterday, Trump, he talked about Iran wanting to get him yesterday. It doesn't really have details of the supposed plot in there. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's something Iran wants. As to whether there's, or the Iranian, certain members of the Iranian leadership, as to whether there's some new plot, some new threatening plot, that I don't know. Melissa Terry said he said it in every interview, I think. Texas 5734 thinks the deal is over. Regarding the, hold on a second here. Here's something about, we were talking about this yesterday. One of the viewers just mentioned this. Trump in Air Force One. And yesterday he left Turkey, but not on the new Air Force One, apparently reportedly due to safety concerns. Hang on a moment. Should have it here. Where is it? Where is... Hang on. That didn't work. The Washington Post says... Hang on. Oops. Noise on my computer. President Trump switched jets at the last minute for part of his travel back from the NATO summit in Turkey on Thursday, opting to fly first on an older Air Force One instead of the new Boeing 747 gifted by Qatar. So we knew that. Both jets stopped at the Royal Air Force Mindenhall base in England, which Trump said was to allow the U.S. troops stationed there to see the new Air Force One. Then Trump got on the new jet and flew the rest of the way back to the U.S. Oh, that's a short article. They don't get all into that in that article. But there were other reports that said it was due to security concerns. Hang on. I thought that one talked about it. So MS Now, they said, and the New York Times both reported it was due to security concerns. MS Now had reported that Trump swapped out the plane. He switched planes over concerns that the Air Force One that came from Qatar lacked secure communication systems and military defenses needed to safely manage a rapidly escalating conflict with Iran. They also say that while Trump was flying from Turkey to the UK in the older Air Force One, on that flight, he authorized additional strikes against Iran. Similar, I think the New York Times said this as well. Well, MS Now said that the new Air Force One currently lacks the key military defenses of the original Air Force One, including the ability to refuel midair and missile defense systems. And they also said that the main concern yesterday was President Trump needed to use the command and control functions of the original Air Force One. Some of the new jet's capabilities have not been fully tested, said MS Now. That's what they reported. There was a similar report in New York Times. Next Gen Terminator says Qatar would have put some bugs. Sign of the Times says Qatar probably put an air tag in it so they can track it. P. Brady says it was a Secret Service decision. Ma Florida said, I saw an article that said the gift plane was 100% okay. I guess it lied. I'm not seeing. Oh, Vahid Online says the Supreme Leader was buried finally. I was looking for a report of that in state media. We were watching some of the funeral earlier. Anyways, I'm not seeing much new right now. So, oops, we have that again. So we've been here covering these reported explosions hours ago in different cities in Iran. A couple of local officials have said that there were attacks, but we have not heard like the Revolutionary Guard or the political leadership of Iran or state media confirm that there were attacks. It's kind of confusing what happened. So I don't know. The U.S. had a U.S. official spoke to different news outlets in the U.S. and denied that the U.S. had conducted attacks recently. So I don't know what to make of all this. Maybe we'll hear more in the coming hours. It's a strange story. I don't know if Iran just didn't want to mention it because of the funeral was going on. So yeah, I mean, I don't have much new to report right now. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start wrapping up this stream. But if there's big news tonight, I'll just come back on the air and do another stream. If you missed it, we got to watch some of the funeral, which was quite interesting to watch, quite striking. So you can go back and watch that. But I think it might be our time. I think it might be our time, guys. So I'm sorry I couldn't get you more, but I got you whatever information I could get you. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on things, and if there's big news later, if there's big news half an hour after I get off the air, we'll do another stream. If there's an attack, well, I'll come back on the air. But I really appreciate everybody tuning in to the channel today, and also people participating in the chat, letting me read your comments on the air, sending comments in and sending updates in and sending questions in. Speaking of which, let me just check one thing real quick here. Now, I didn't see this. PW360 claims that Barak Ravid on Israeli TV said someone in the administration told him they won't be attacking until the ceremony is over tonight, and said the attacks earlier may have been rogue elements. Now, I didn't see him say that. That's what PW360 says. I have no idea if there's going to be another attack tonight by the U.S. Yeah, Evelyn in Maine sent me an unconfirmed report about the shooting. Again, apparently there was a shooting of some sort in the same city that the funeral was going on. Iranian state media says it was 10 miles away. Some Iranian state media says cause unknown. Another Iranian state media report said it was a personal dispute. There's other reports online that claim it was some sort of terrorist attack on the, Basij militia, which supports the regime. I don't know. I do not know. But I posted some stuff on my X account about it, which you can go check out. By the way, speaking of which, if you'd like, you can follow me on X. I do post when I'm not on the air. I keep up with the news and post updates there when I'm not on the air at Lookner. If I see stuff about Iran while I'm off the air, I'll post it. I'll post it over there at Lookner on X. And subscribe, follow the channel, Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda, agenda-free TV. I would suggest you turn on the notifications so you can get sent a notification before we go live to get you the heads up every time so you don't miss a stream and know when we're covering breaking news. And the notifications are free. You just have to sign up once. The mods will post a link to the notifications in the chat. You can also find that link in the description of this video on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. But sign up for the notifications, I would suggest. And but again, I really appreciate you joining the stream. Also, huge thanks to our moderators. You are awesome. They are why we can have chat rooms. We could not have our chat rooms without our amazing moderators. Thank you. Ruth has been over there on YouTube. Thank you so much, Ruth. I appreciate it. Also on Twitch, our moderators there, such as Big Ball of Yarn, LB Prairie Dawn, Idaho Star, Matthew Kohai 3, Surly Dev, all of our other Twitch mods. Thank you. Linda Belk, Larry, Misha on X, who moderate for us there. Thank you. Lovey and Kay, who moderate on Rumble. Kay Lowry Body on Facebook, Paul Anderson, and all of our other moderators. Big thank you to all of our moderators. Also, thanks to everybody who supported the channel today. So nice of you. I owe a couple people thank yous. I never thanked Crimson Dingo from New Zealand. Thanks, Crimson Dingo. Thanks for shouting out the mods, too. I think I thanked Jeff Buddington, but thanks again, Jeff Buddington. Scoot in Civic. Thanks for subscribing on Twitch. Oxytrobus, thanks for your support on Twitch. Jay Milius, thanks for subscribing on Twitch. Who Shot JR and Andy DS7, thanks for supporting on Twitch. By the way, our viewer Ali Tarabi, I just saw his email. He says the railway to Mashhad was a corridor for importing goods from Iran, from China and Russia during the war. That's what he says. Thanks, Ali, for writing in. By the way, Mon, our viewer, wrote in and said, I just saw this, sorry. Did you know the truck used in funerals in Iran originally came from Finland? The K-Shop logo on the side of the truck? It's not known in Finland how the truck ended up in Iran? That's what M&K says from Finland. They say there was a truck being used in the funeral from Finland, and it's not known how it got there. I don't know if that's true, by the way. Yes. So Helsinki Times had an article saying a refrigerated truck carrying branding resembling Finland's K Group became part of the funeral procession for Supreme Leader Khamenei, prompting the Finnish retailer Kesko to launch an investigation. I will post a link to the story if you want to read about the Finnish truck that somehow got involved in the Iranian funeral. The markings on the truck matched the visual identity used by K Group, one of Finland's largest retail chains, according to the Helsinki Times. The group that owns the company that owns the brand said they learned about it only after seeing the images in the media. The company thinks maybe one of its partners sold the vehicle without removing the branding, despite the contractual obligation saying they're supposed to remove the branding. That's interesting. I hadn't even heard about that story before. Thanks for writing in about that. Okay, by the way, let's see. I got a little sidetracked. Sorry. Sorry for getting those messages late. I missed them earlier. Hey, another good way to find out when we're live, if you're on X, at Agenda Free TV, follow us on X. I always post when we're going live there. I post updates about the channel there too. Give you a heads up when we're going live, and updates about the channel at Agenda Free TV on X. You can follow us over there. We do have a chat where you can chat with other viewers when we're not live. The Discord chat, check it out. A bunch of our viewers like doing that. It's totally free, the Discord chat. It's the same link as the free notifications link. Thanks so much to our Discord moderators who moderate the Discord chat. Thank you. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, I would suggest turning on the YouTube notifications, another good way to find out when we are live. And to turn on the YouTube notifications on YouTube, what you need to do is subscribe to the channel and then click the bell and choose all notifications. If you're already subscribed, well, make sure you have the bell clicked and you've chosen all notifications. Okay. Also, huge thanks to our Facebook subscribers. Oh, thanks to Michael Fergal, who is moderating as well over there on Facebook. Thank you, Michael. All of our Facebook subscribers, like Diane Allworth and Kristen McConnell Gates and Michael Clayton and Kay Lowry Body for subscribing over on Facebook and supporting the channel, and our Twitch subscribers as well, like Beatnik Bandit, Wall Street Shaggy, Hugh J, Simp Nasty Scrimp. I should have gotten to the subscribers earlier. Next time, I will try to. Justin D. Winters, thank you. Jax Haku, Uncle Fester, okay to play all day. Thanks to our first-time chatter, one only use physical media. Boot Pulls, thanks for subscribing. Scoot in Civic, thanks for subscribing. Billy Joe, Ma Florida, thank you for subscribing. And all of our other Twitch subscribers and our YouTube members. Kim K. Carter, Crypto King, Bad Doge, CAC813, Jeff Buddington, Evelyn in Maine, Least Trustworthy Weasel, J.K. Sinar, CAC813, Maggie McLeod, Darcy Do That, Marisol DeValley, Glenda, Curtis Ray, Florida Beach Man, Patricia Canada, thanks for being members. And I greatly apologize for misspelling Mashad. That was sloppy of me to misspell Mashad on the stream. My bad. And in my tweets, my posts. Ridiculous. Somehow I thought I had checked the correct spelling and I had not. Yes, as Chris says, it's a marathon. Thanks, Becky, for watching. Thanks, Chris N. Thanks, Angie C. for watching. Francis Boyle, thanks for watching. Kajursti, thanks for watching. Rottweiler. Christy Claft over there on Facebook, thanks for watching. Melissa Terry, Ann Spencer. Jai Levy, thanks for watching there. Jai B. Levy. What happened here? What did I do? What did I do? Jody Scott, thanks for watching. Michael Rare Zebra, thanks for watching. Moonraker, thanks for watching. And Kev So Fun. Thanks, Kev So Fun, for watching as well. I appreciate it. Thanks for the note. Okay, I am wrapping this up. I'm going to do one last check. Who knows? I could be back on the air in a little bit, depending on what happens. I don't know what's going to happen with all of this. I'll be keeping an eye on it. I'm going to try to eat some food while I have the chance. That's what I'm going to try to do. I am not seeing anything new at the moment. I'm looking. All right, guys. That is it for now. Hold on a second here. That is it for now. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.